Thank you for joining us for this edition of David's Question of the Week, presented by NM Fiber Network. As New Mexico's statewide middle mile backbone, we're committed to keeping you informed about the technologies, opportunities, and challenges shaping connectivity. Here's this week's question.
A cooperative different model operates on one single element that makes it different from every other model. Not saying any other model doesn't have this, but there's a significant amount of value placed on trust, on cooperation. I mean, it's in the word, right? The cooperative model. And it all started from a handful of rural people, families, cities, rural towns, coming together and deciding that they wanted a better future for their families. That's the model that it's based on. So they came together and cooperatively put together a solution to electrify portions of rural America through the Rural Electrification Act back in the 1930s, 40s, very early on, that the federal government pushed out. On the heels of that came telephone access, using the same model where folks came together cooperatively to build a solution for the betterment of our families. That same model continues today, but it's evolved into fiber and fiber access for rural areas of America that would otherwise not have that access. And because rising waters lift every boat, as more connections are made across this great nation in rural America, the United States prospers and our citizens prosper, our communities prosper, everyone prospers, including rural America. And so that model we've brought at the state level now. It works well because there's a lot of trust already within the members. Every cooperative member knows, its peer. I know Jim at PVT, I know Paul Breach, I know everybody that's connected as part of our member level for our cooperative membership folks that make up NM Fiber Network. There's a level of trust there. There's interconnection points there. I connect to Yucca up north. I connect to PVT here in Hobbs. I connect to other cooperatives as well in Texas that are not part of the NM Fiber Network, but that give us that member level of efficiency because of our interconnect points. And every member has the same type of connection at their level as well. So what this does is allows NM Fiber Network to build on the model that is cooperative, that has a very deep cooperative foundation, very deep roots, which is critical, and we draw upon that trust to be able to overlay this native network that we're calling NM Fiber Network for the benefit of the members themselves, the cooperatives, and of course for the benefit of New Mexico, the state of New Mexico, and ultimately for the benefit of our great nation. So that model works extremely well because, again, it's based on trust. We work at the speed of trust. There's a lot of stuff that you can do if you trust the folks that you're working with that you might otherwise not be able to do if that was somewhat limited. Not saying that doesn't exist anywhere else, but in my 26 years of experience in the cooperative world, I have found that it's much different in regards to that side of it than it would be from the other places that I worked at, for example. If I was to compare the two, there's a different level here that we bring to the table when we work with NM Fiber Network, when we work to create interconnection points, when we work to create exclusive partnerships with Endatel, for example, when we work to create relationships with ConnectBase as another example, and when we work to create relationships with the state broadband office in New Mexico and any of a number of municipalities and other folks that are interested in seeing the state network in New Mexico succeed. That level of trust is there, and that also helps bring in customers. Most large companies, for example, a good example is a solar wind project. There's many of those in rural New Mexico. We don't have a lot going on out here in the desert, but you can count on the high winds. So you've got some good solar and wind projects out here that have been put in place. And some of those guys, engineering firms, construction firms, when they're out here building, they know to reach out to their cooperative broadband providers to try to get access, whether it's electric. In our case, we have a co-op, electric co-op locally here, or in the case of their need for broadband, they reach out to the cooperative first, not necessarily the ILEC first, although they do reach out to those as well if it happens to be a cooperative, but they reach out to the cooperatives because they know that we work at a different level. And by different, I don't mean that that we're different insofar as trust only exists if you work with a co-op, but we're different insofar as the reason that we came together was for the betterment of our communities, and that still remains the founding and the thing that roots us deepest to New Mexico is our connection to the communities and to our families. So that's important when these guys are looking for service. They have worked with other co-ops in the past that when they showed up here in New Mexico in our backyard, we were the first call they made, and of course we moved heaven and earth, so to speak, to get them service, whether it's temporary services over licensed microwave with fiber coming on the heels of that, or anything in between. We do all that because that's what we do. We try to do anything and everything possible to serve our membership, sometimes at the cost of dollars on our end, but we look at that as an investment, again, in trust, in community, and the future of New Mexico and our rural communities. NM Fiber Network is built on that. I realize that's a bit long-winded, but NM Fiber Network is built on investing in our communities, just as our cooperative members have done so for decades now in New Mexico.
Connection fuels opportunity, and at NM Fiber Network, we're building the backbone that makes that possible. Thanks for joining us for David's Question of the Week. Till next time, stay connected, stay curious, and for more information, go now to nmfibernetwork.com.